He was affable, interesting. He loved people. He loved to talk to people. He loved to find out about people, what made them tick, and he loved to learn from people.
Marshall's personality was complex, but I mean that in a positive way. Marshall, when he was professional and on task with his lawyering, was like a laser beam. Also had great warmth and great capacity for compassion, especially with his family.
Everything that a Southern gentleman is. He was happy from day one, charming, polite. Marshall never spoke an unkind word. He had a gentleness about him, but when he needed to, he certainly could be firm when necessary.
Marshall had truly great accomplishments in the legal field. He graduated from Stanford Law School in 1956 after having been a decorated naval aviator during the Korean War, and he joined the then very small firm of Luce.
An amazing focus and dedication to preparation and detail. And that really was a core feature of Marshall's. He prepared a case and he looked at every angle. And when Marshall thought he was ready to go, he went right back at it and started again because he's thinking, maybe I missed something.
Marshall, I think it all began, honestly, with the military. You know, they had a certain decorum, and calisthenics, believe it or not, was very important. And that man, well into his 80s, was getting up in the morning, jumping jacks, sit-ups, weight training. All of our kids have watched their father. In his 80s, he did a partial marathon.
He was the trial department when he started, and he grew that trial department into a nationally respected trial department. He mentored, either directly or indirectly, decades of associates and litigators at Luce Forward, many of whom became really prominent litigators themselves. Marshall was the preeminent member of our trial department. He was a local and national legend. He was one of the finest aviation litigators in this country. He tried cases all over the country.
Marshall had an airplane and had a crash. Took one life, and it burned Marshall and his good friend Jerry DeVee very badly. And Marshall was not expected to live, and he fought back with terrible burn injuries.
Marshall was so passionate about his law practice. It combined two things he really loved. He loved flying airplanes. He had the intricate mind of an aeronautical engineer. And he loved people, and he loved to try cases.
He worked with some of the top lawyers in our country. He specialized in aviation litigation, and to watch good lawyers. And if Marshall's getting hit in the courtroom, he kind of leaned back in his chair and start cleaning his fingernails, looking like he was okay. But that's the coolness of a gentleman. He was humble, but boy, he knew what he was doing in a courtroom, and he's one of the big thinkers. I think his most fun was discovery. He loved doing discovery.
Marshall led such a balanced life. He was an intellectually curious man. He was a voracious reader. He was a family man. He loved his family, his big, wonderful family. He adored his wife, Loretta. She was his partner and love of his life, and he adored his 8 children, 23 grandchildren, and 13 great-grandchildren.
One of the things about Marshall is he never sought personal attention. I mean, he created a lot of it, but you never saw Marshall going out of his way to make sure he was in the news, to make sure he got credit, to make sure he was this. Marshall never did that. He worked. The guy left a legacy of anyone around him is you work hard, you play fair, and you just do the very best you can with the talents you have. And if you do that, you're going to do positive for your clients, positive for the legal system, and positive for your family. And that's Marshall's legacy.
Marshall Foreman was the most distinguished lawyer I have ever known. And I am also thrilled for his wonderful family.